Welcome to 8 Minutes Chinese. Today, we're unlocking the essential phrases you can use in daily life and master in your next business negotiation.
So, have you ever noticed how, like, a massive, perfectly organized corporate juggernaut can just, well, completely implode?
Oh, totally. Like the ones with the marble lobbies and, unlimited resources.
Like, unlimited resources, huge armies of consultants, and then, bam, they're just gone. You're reading their postmortem in the news, but then meanwhile, there's some scrappy, totally disorganized startup in a garage, and they just keep winning.
Yeah, I mean, logically, the juggernaut should crush the underdog every single time, right?
Yeah.
Resources plus organization is supposed to equal victory.
Exactly. But looking at the stack of sources you sent over for today's deep dive, the research on corporate agility, those linguistic breakdowns, it's clear you're trying to crack a very specific code here.
I am, yeah?
Like, how do you gain absolute leverage when you are just completely out-resourced? And the wild part to me is that this dynamic was completely figured out about 2,500 years ago.
Right by Sun Tzu. In the Art of War.
Yeah.
Specifically, your notes focus on Chapter 5, which is military disposition. And, I mean, he was ostensibly writing about chariots and terrain, but his true obsession was, well, it was the mechanics of human psychology.
Which is basically an operating manual for modern life. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this strategy. We want to show you how true power doesn't actually rely on rigid perfection. It relies on a very specific type of controlled chaos.
Exactly. And because we're working directly from those linguistic breakdowns, we're going to be exceptionally precise with the original terminology today.
Right, which means whenever we hit the core concepts, we're going to drastically slow down so you can hear the exact exaggerated Mandarin tones, because the linguistic contrast is the key to this whole philosophy.
It really is. So let's get into the master phrase that anchors all this research.
Okay, I'm going to practice saying this one. I will slow way, way down for this.
Luan, 生于字 not 即生于生于点上.
Spot on. And the translation for that is pretty striking. It means chaos is born from order. Cowardice is born from courage. And weakness is born from strength.
Okay, wait. That feels, entirely backward to me.
Does it?
Yeah. Every modern productivity guru tells us that order is what prevents chaos. Wake up at 4 a.m., time block your whole day. We're taught that structure equals safety.
Well, yeah, we definitely fetishize order right now. But Sun Tzu isn't selling a morning routine here. He's describing the psychological manipulation of a competitive environment.
Oh, well.
His core philosophy is that a system with absolute internal discipline can actually afford to weaponize the appearance of disorder.
Like the scrappy startup scenario we were just talking about.
Exactly.
Because, a startup looks chaotic on the outside. They have weird job titles. They're pivoting every other week. It looks like complete anarchy. But internally, they have total clarity of mission.
Right. Their internal alignment is flawless. And that perfectly illustrates the first part of the phrase. Let's really emphasize the syllables here. Luan Shangyuzi.
So the chaos, the Luan Grayo, isn't an accident.
Not at all.
It's generated intentionally from within a highly ordered system, which is the Z.
Precisely. It's a strategic illusion. I mean, if you are genuinely disorganized inside and you look chaotic outside, you're just incompetent.
Right, you just lose.
Yeah. The strategy only works when your internal order is ironclad. That gives you the luxury to project chaos. Your opponent sees the mess, they systematically underestimate you, and most importantly, they drop their guard.
And the flip side is basically big tech. They have all these OKRs, endless alignment meetings, and they look perfectly ordered, but they can't actually ship a product.
Right. Their extreme scale and process, which is supposed to be their strength, becomes their weakness. They prioritize the appearance of perfect order over actual velocity.
Wow. They're perfectly organized and completely paralyzed.
Exactly.
Which is such a good bridge to the next point. If extreme organization breeds chaos, extreme strength can breed its own vulnerability.
All right, getting into the psychological deep waters here. The next part is Kirsheng Yuging, cowardice is born from courage. And Rusheng Yukeng, weakness is born from strength.
So, cowardice from courage sounds like a riddle. But it's really about faking vulnerability to manipulate the other person, right?
Totally. I mean, if you're genuinely terrified, you just run away. That's actual cowardice. But if you have profound internal courage, you have the emotional regulation to perform hesitation.
You bait them.
It's the ultimate trap. You act vulnerable, and your opponent gets this surge of adrenaline and overconfidence. They rush in aggressively to finish you off, and they completely expose their own critical weaknesses.
Oh, this is exactly like Muhammad Ali's rope-a-dope strategy against George Foreman.
Oh, that's a brilliant comparison.
Yeah, because Ali backed up against the ropes and just covered his head. He looked trapped. He looked totally terrified. It was this flawless projection of Kierid cowardice and Ruang weakness.
But his internal reality was entirely different.
Right. His internal control was absolute. He knew the ropes would absorb the impact. But psychologically, he made Foreman think a knockout was seconds away. So Foreman just dumped adrenaline, threw these wild punches, and completely abandoned his fundamentals.
Foreman's immense strength actually became the mechanism of his defeat. He punched himself into total exhaustion. Ali used what Sun Tzu called bingshi.
The momentum strategy.
Exactly. Ali didn't use brute force. He weaponized Foreman's perception of reality.
That is just incredible. Okay, let's pull this out of the boxing ring and apply it to our everyday lives. Let's start with a workplace scenario, like a high-stakes salary negotiation.
Perfect application.
Because my instinct is to just fill the silence. I get anxious, so I over-explain my value, I list my achievements, and I just radiate eagerness.
Which is such a natural human response. You want to prove you're worth it.
But based on this framework, by pitching my competence so aggressively, I am exposing my weakness. I'm showing them that my ambition is a liability.
Exactly. You are literally living out Rushang Yukongli. Your strong desire is working against you. In any negotiation, leverage belongs to the person who needs the deal the least.
Right.
When you broadcast desperation, you give them all the leverage.
So to flip the script, I need to use Kershang Yu Young, cowardice born from courage. I have to perform hesitation.
Yes. But, and this is key, the foundation has to be real. You have to do the market research and know your exact value. That is your internal order, your ziyi.
Got it.
Once that's secure, you lean back. You don't act aggressive. You act thoughtful. You ask probing questions. You tell them you're, evaluating a couple of different directions.
But they don't chase you.
Exactly. You trigger their loss aversion, the dynamic shifts, and suddenly they feel this urgent need to convince you to accept the offer.
Oh, but that is terrifying to actually execute.
Yeah.
If I fake hesitation, but internally I'm freaking out about paying my rent, they're going to read the micro expressions of my anxiety.
Oh, 100%. It will just look like actual fear. The strategic chaos completely depends on the internal order being rock solid. You cannot fake the foundation.
Okay, let's look at a daily life scenario.
Yeah.
Because social media is like the ultimate modern arena for testing this, right?
Excellent.
Think about the heavily curated accounts. The lighting is immaculate. Everything is PR approved, and every post projects total authority and strength.
They project relentless order.
Right. But our brains have evolved this amazing filter. When we see that perfect content, we instantly categorize it as an ad. We see they're trying too hard to look strong, and we just scroll past.
It's the literal embodiment of weakness coming from strength. Their obsession with looking invulnerable makes their brand so fragile.
Yes. But then contrast that with the creator who posts a completely unhinged, shaky video from the front seat of their car. No script, terrible lighting.
Total external chaos. Complete lunatic.
Exactly. But it goes viral. Why? Because that specific creator actually possesses deep, specialized expertise. They have a refined point of view.
Right. It's chaos born from order.
Yeah. Their internal structure of knowledge is so profound, they can afford to deliver it in a totally unpolished format.
If a genuinely ignorant person posts a rambling video, it's just noise. But when an expert does it, the contrast between the brilliant insight and the messy delivery is totally magnetic.
Wow. Okay, before we wrap this up, I want to make sure we really lock in this foundational vocabulary. Seeing these pairings together solidifies the whole strategy.
Let's do it.
I am going to drastically slow down, and I'll act as the student here to practice. Let's start with chaos or disorder.
All right, chaos is Luan Ni, fourth tone falling.
Okay, Luan, fourth tone falling.
And that intentional disorder is anchored by internal control, which is Z, fourth tone falling.
Z, fourth tone falling.
Next is the psychological bait, performing timidity or cowardice.
K, fourth tone falling.
Ki, fourth tone falling.
Which requires genuine bravery to pull off. That courage is Yani, third tone.
Virgininini, third tone.
And then feigning vulnerability or weakness. Ru, fourth tone,
Wait.
falling. Uru, fourth tone, falling.
All to disguise your actual power or strength, which is king, kong kong, second tone, rising.
Kong sing gong, second tone, rising.
Yeah. Synthesizing all this, the true brilliance of Sun Tzu is just glaring. It's not about playing dumb or just being messy.
No, not at all. It's about building an internal architecture of knowledge and courage that is so dense, you finally have the luxury of being strategically unpredictable.
You become so secure that you don't have to constantly perform your strength for everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You build the invisible foundation so strong that the house on top can look however you want it to look.
Which brings us right back to the paradox we opened with. The juggernaut implodes because it relies entirely on visible, rigid strength. But the startup wins because its true strength operates quietly beneath the surface.
They truly understand the illusion of the invincible.
They really do. So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave you, the listener, with the final provocative thought.
Take a hard look at the areas in your life where you feel the most confident, the most established, the most externally strong. Is it possible that your deep reliance on that specific strength has actually made you rigid?
Oh, that's a great question.
In your obsession to look like the invulnerable juggernaut, have you inadvertently let your strength become your greatest weakness?
A very vital and slightly uncomfortably question to ask yourself.
It really is. Thank you for joining us to explore this. Keep building that internal order. Keep questioning the surface, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.
Hope you loved today's 8-minute upgrade. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.